There are fears for WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange's safety after his legal team says someone tried to break into the Ecuadorian embassy in London. The whistleblower hasn't left the building since 2012 when he sought refuge there. Fearing extradition to the U.S., Anastasia Turkina reports from just outside the embassy.
According to reports citing the WikiLeaks founder's legal team, it's being claimed that quite recently Assange had experienced an attempted break-in inside the Ecuadorian embassy here in London, just behind me, where, of course, he has been holed up now for over 6 years. And according to these reports that cite his team, what allegedly happened was Assange had experienced an attempted intruder try to break in through one of the windows in front of the building, and what stopped that intruder allegedly, or at least made Assange aware of him, was a booby trap that Assange set up using a fire hydrant. Now, any more details or information about what happened next, who this person might have been, or any details on this really continue to remain a mystery. So that's all that we know so far. Now, we had contacted the Metropolitan Police to see if they had anything to say on this, and they said they have no reports of such an attempted break-in. And we also tried to speak to officials inside this embassy. They told us over the phone that the ambassador is not currently in place, so they're not charged with the authority to make comments on this matter. But supporters of Julian Assange have made it clear that their concerns about his security are quite high. This is what his mother had said quite recently.
The life of my son, journalist Julian Assange, is in immediate and critical danger. The former president of Ecuador, Rafael Correa, publicly warned that when US Vice President Mike Pence recently visited Ecuador, a deal was done to hand Julian over to the US.
Well, if you can see behind me, the building is now currently covered with scaffolding. This also raising concerns about whether or not this could be somehow affecting the security camera operations that have up until now been in place. So lots of questions about coming from Assange's supporters now about whether or not he's actually safe being inside the embassy. All of this even more so highlighted by the fact that recently Assange has had quite a rocky relationship with Ecuadorian officials. If you remember, his access to the internet as well as other communications and visitors had been restricted by Ecuadorian officials who were not happy with him expressing his opinions on political issues around the world. That restriction was later partially lifted in exchange for certain rules that Julian Assange had to follow, that officials were asking of him to follow, which he was not quite happy doing whatsoever. So really, exactly where this whole saga is going to be heading next could really be anyone's guess.